thousands of people have mysteriously vanished in America's wilderness. Join us as we dive into the deep end of the unexplainable and try to piece together what happened. You are listening to Locations Unknown.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Locations Unknown. I'm your co-host, Joe Irado, and with me, as always, is a man who's more adorable than small animals, Mike Van de Bogart.
Thank you, Joe, and thank you once again to all of our loyal listeners for tuning in. Just a few updates before we go in here. We got some new Patreon shout-outs, so thank you to Crystal Haverfield, Dora Rich, Clorinda Landeros, Jill Damrose, and Holly Bacon. So thank you so much for helping the show out.
Yes, thank you very much.
Also want to do something new we'll do every once in a while here, Patreon anniversary. So we want to just say thank
I like
you.
That.
Yeah, thank you to David Watson, who's been a member or a supporter of Locations Unknown on Patreon since July of 2020. So
I don't have an applause button, otherwise I'd do it. I can't do laughter or
booze or whatever.
No, none of the bad stuff.
So yeah, thank you, David, for supporting the show for as long as you have. I also want to give out 2 episode suggestion shout-outs for this episode. So Eva Freeman, who is also a patron supporter of ours for almost 2 years now.
Thank you very much, Eva Freeman.
Yes, and Peter Smith, who emailed us in June about this case. So,
all right, 2 people wanted to hear about this.
Yeah, it's an interesting case. It's been covered a lot on, YouTube and other places, but I think we'll bring a different angle to it, kind of the backcountry hiking angle.
That is what we do best.
That is what we do. As we always say, if you want to make any other suggestions, episode suggestions, or complain about us or anything, call our phone number at 208-391-6913 and leave a voicemail. The funnier or meaner, the better, because that will ensure it will get played on a future episode.
Absolutely.
So that is all I have, Joe.
You want me to hit this last part?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't know why that's there.
All right, cool. Well, that's fine. That's fine.
We'll cut that.
All right, everybody, let's gear up and get out to explore Locations Unknown. November 10th, 2014. An avid adventurer sets out on a hiking trip to find a very unique cave in the Nevada desert. He had discovered this cave in the past and was trying to find it again. After he did not return home, his girlfriend began to worry and contacted the authorities. Join us this week as we investigate the strange disappearance of Kenny Veach. So the name of the location we're starting this story in is the Sheep Mountain Wilderness, which is about 40 miles north of Las Vegas and south of Area 51, part of the Desert National Wildlife Refuge in Nevada. It's roughly 1.6 million acres, which is twice the size of Rhode Island. The Desert National Wildlife Refuge is a protected wildlife refuge administered by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. This range is part of the larger Desert National Wildlife Refuge complex, which includes the Ash Meadows National Wildlife Refuge, the Moapa Valley National Wildlife Refuge, and the word I definitely don't even know if I'm going to try and pronounce, Parinat Paranat National Wildlife Refuge.
I just wanted to see how many times I could get you to say National Wildlife Refuge.
That's fine. I'm going to do it every time because that is the full name of all those places. So here we go. I'm going to enter that thing in here. Paranat. Oh,
Paranat.
It detected it as Hindi, and it wants to translate to English as Under Armour.
Is it a sponsored wildlife refuge?
It does not want to let me. Now it's translating it into. Yeah, it won't let me pick English. It's just like no.
I'm gonna say Paranat.
Here, I think I got it. Let me turn this up. Here we go.
Paranagat.
Paranagat National Wildlife Refuge.
All right, and if that's wrong too, because this one's so unique, it could be wrong also. I'm sure you can call the number and let us know in a really nice or really mean way. That'd be okay. So obviously, as we said before, this is Nevada. It was created in 1936 to provide habitat and protection for the desert bighorn sheep and other desert wildlife. And now we're going to refer to it as Desert NWR, so I don't have to say National Wildlife Refuge, because it's a tongue twister, and I'm actually surprised I got through all those without screwing them up. So the Desert NWR, I almost said NDR.
NWA.
NWA is the largest wildlife refuge outside of Alaska. Look, we shortened it and said it again anyway.
Yep.
Local census info. So the NWR has been home to people for thousands of years, from Niue, Western Shoshone, and Nuwu and Nuwovi, Southern. Jeez, holy cow, you're killing me here. This is on purpose. Southern Paiute and Chemwevi.
We are going to get a lot of...
Chemwevi.
I'm
going to try that one too, because I want to see if I got it right.
So as he's checking
what do you think it is?
Chemwevi, I think.
All right, let's see. I've been turning the volume down because I kept getting those Windows noises last time.
Chemwevi.
I was pretty dang close for not knowing it all. I'm giving myself 75% credit on that one.
For everyone who's listening, we always take flack for saying names wrong. So sometimes doing episode research, I will plug in a lot of tough names for Joe to try to...
Just to throw me off, which I appreciate because I think it's funny. And a lot of people do too.
Yeah.
So if you don't, call that number and let us know.
Yes.
So here's some interesting facts about Nevada. Nevada was named after the Sierra Nevada mountain range, which it shares with California. The word Nevada means snow-covered in Spanish. I didn't know that because I don't speak Spanish.
I didn't know that either.
The land speed record of 760.343 miles per hour, and for our overseas listeners, 1,223.657 kilometers per hour, was set in the Black Rock Desert in 1997 and was the first to beat the speed of sound on the land.
Pretty cool.
That is pretty cool, and that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Around 150 couples getting married in Las Vegas every day.
Yep. It's a lot.
That's a lot.
And how many of those regret it the next day?
Well, I think the national average right now is 50% for divorce rate.
Yeah.
I bet it's 50% in the first 24 hours for these groups, and then another 25 to 30% within the first couple of years. Nevada has a statewide law that allows the sale of alcohol from liquor stores, clubs, bars, and restaurants 24/7. Drinking and or being visibly intoxicated in public is also legal.
Anyone who's been to Vegas will know that.
Yeah. If it wasn't, it's definitely not enforced.
Yes.
The Sphinx at the Luxor Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas is bigger, 110 feet or 33.5 meters, than the original in Egypt. However, the casino's pyramid is smaller than the Great Pyramid of Giza to avoid interrupting flights to the nearby Las Vegas International Airport.
Not in my notes. I have Las Vegan.
Las Vegan. It auto-corrected you. See, I'm not Ron Burgundy. Yeah. I was able to navigate around that one. That's crazy though, because you know that they wanted it to be either the same size. They probably were like, we're going to have the exact dimensions. And the government's like, no, you're going to block planes. So we're not going to allow that. There are 300 plus named mountain ranges running through Nevada, more than any other state. These include the Carson Range of the Sierra Nevadas, a mountain chain that is mostly in California. There are over 44,000 acres of human-made reservoirs in Nevada. That's what happens when you open up a city in the desert.
Yep.
When Lake Mead was first created in the 1930s, the Mormon town of St. Thomas was drowned. Now the ghost town is exposed due to lowered lake levels. I didn't know that. So there was an actual town like in Lake Mead that because
I
it's
didn't know
lowering.
that either. Yeah, until I did this research, and now that it's level of the lake's been dropping
Between the ghost towns and barrels full of bodies.
Full of bodies, yeah. So a lot of interesting things are showing up in Lake Mead.
Jeez.
I've been to Lake Mead. It was pretty cool. It was not as low as it is now, but cool place to boat.
It was like the mob is like, we're making a city. Here's a reservoir. Oh, you have a town? Sorry.
Sorry.
There are more hot springs in Nevada than any other state in the U.S., with over 300 naturally occurring ones. The federal government owns 87% of Nevada's land. The kangaroo rat found in Nevada's Death Valley can live its entire life without drinking a single drop of water. Side note, they live for 5 hours. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I don't know how long they live. I'm guessing it's a long time because that's a pretty wild adaptation to the environment.
Yeah.
Nevada is home to over 50% of the wild horse population in the U.S. Actually, you know what? The kangaroo rat, I want to look this up when you're talking.
Okay.
I think they can actually gather the sweat from like their ears and drink it. Like they like scoop it up. I think I saw a video on... it was the Netflix series Planet Earth at Night.
Yeah.
Did you see that one?
No.
It's really good. They use some like crazy new cameras where they can actually see like the wildlife without the old one where they'd shine like the giant light.
Like the spotlight?
Yeah, and it was terrible. And they're like flashing around trying to catch it. They use like super duper expensive night vision to catch it. It's awesome. So plug for... I think it's Planet. I don't even know if that's what it's called.
I found it interesting that they have 50% of the wild horse population in the U.S. I would have never guessed Nevada would have that just with how much
I'm
desert
so
there is.
uninformed. I didn't know there still was a wild horse population.
It's probably like 100.
Yeah, like they got to be protected because I just like had the minor urge to go like, can I go catch one and break it and then it's like mine? Like, do you get a permit? Like you can go catch one?
This is an 1870.
But I want it to be. I just got a cowboy hat. I was at Levitate Music Festival in Massachusetts. I got a cowboy. I'm a cowboy now.
You are?
I am.
Where is it?
I should have wore it. That would have been the next episode. I'll wear it. So I'll go half cowboy.
Half cowboy.
So we'll talk about the climate. Spring and fall are the best times to visit the desert.
Yeah.
Summer gets very hot. If you could imagine that the summer in the desert is
anyone who's been to
hot.
Las Vegas, you don't go in the summer. It's
or you do to avoid the crowds.
Yeah, and stay indoors. It gets hot.
Absolutely. Don't be on the strip unless it's night.
Not. I've been there in the summer. It's not even enjoyable in a pool. It's so like hot. At least when I was there.
Yeah. No, I agree. I've gone March time frame, which is it's still getting pretty hot, but yeah, it can get too much.
Yep.
Annual rainfall in the range varies from less than 4 inches or 102 millimeters in the valleys to over 15 inches on the mountain peaks. So the mountain peaks are getting a little bit of rain.
It's dry though.
It's still dry. Yeah,
it's very dry.
It's not a lot, but it's more than I would have guessed.
Yeah.
Weather here can be extreme. Temperatures may reach upwards of 120 degrees Fahrenheit or 50 degrees Celsius in the summer and drop to 50 degrees Fahrenheit or 10 Celsius in just 24 hours.
It's a dry heat, though.
It's a dry
heat. That's what
heat.
people always say.
It's such a dry heat. Dress in layers to protect yourself from the sun. That is the big mistake we always talk about on this is people go to the desert thinking, ooh, shorts, T-shirt, things that will... No, you want to cover your skin.
Watch old Western movies and dress... See how they dress.
Yes.
And that's how you should dress in the desert.
Yep.
Not in real, like...
Yeah, you burn, you're losing more water with the skin contact than you would sweating.
If I've hiked with sunburn, it's brutal, and it sucks. I mean, unless you like the suffering, it's not worth it.
It's not worth it. Even if you like the suffering, it's not worth it. So the Desert NWR contains 6 major mountain ranges, including the Sheep Range with heights of up to 10,000 feet, 3,000 meters, and valleys around 2,500 feet or 800 meters. I don't know. Do you want me to explain this graph somehow?
No, it was just a kind of a cool little graph that just shows kind of what elevation some of the
what plants grow?
Yeah, so like lower elevations, you are going to find Joshua trees in this area. At the top, 10,000 feet, you're going to find the bristlecone trees and pines and firs and stuff. So
it's wild how a Joshua tree can survive at like no rain, high temps.
Yeah,
because it looks like it needs water. The rest of those plants, the saltbush, that creosote bush, whatever it is.
Yeah,
they look like the types of plants that would just not need water.
Yeah,
but hey,
Yeah.
Nature gonna nature.
Nature gonna nature.
So some of the animals that you might encounter where Terry went missing: bighorn sheep, the American badger, roadrunner, desert blonde tarantula, the sidewinder,
It's a snake.
the Panamint rattlesnake, the common king snake, which over 12 types of snakes in that area, several lizard species, coyotes, bobcats, and cougars. So
I think your main threat in this area is going to be snakes.
yes.
Anytime you hike in a desert environment, you got to be mindful of where you're stepping. If you get bit by a rattlesnake out, and you don't have any anti-venom, it could kill you.
Yep. Yeah,
So-
you don't. That's a bad spot.
Yeah.
You'll clot your blood up and you'll be done. If you're heading beyond Corn Creek, you need high clearance vehicle. 4-wheel drive is suggested. You make sure your vehicle is ready for the trip. Check your tires, fuel. So they're giving a lot of tips about you're kind of stuck out there. Like
this
you
is
make
like
sure this
terrain
thing's going to handle
issues.
it. Yes.
Yeah, it's very rugged past this Corn Creek area.
Yeah, they say the most common problem people experience is flat tires. A spare is a must.
Yeah.
Mine shafts pose a serious threat to anyone not familiar with the area. So with the digging, you could just fall into one of those. That's no good. Exposure and lack of natural water are big. So there's heat, there's sun. It is the desert.
Yes.
It says carry and drink at least 1 gallon or 4 liters of water per person per day. Water in springs and water developments, also known as guzzlers, is for wildlife and emergency use only, with the exception of Wiregrass Spring near Hidden Forest Cabin. All water must be purified prior to consumption.
This is interesting, too. I've never hiked in an area where you're restricted from the natural water. So that you really got to be prepared and bring your own water. And
Are they springs?
yeah, I mean, they are.
Do they not like refill fast or something, or they
like
just don't
in
want it
canyon,
contaminated?
in Canyonlands, when we hiked there, the springs are very erratic. And they had like charts up in the ranger station.
Oh,
of,
sometimes they're like dry.
they mark the coordinates. Yeah, and when we checked them all, they were dry.
That's scary.
yeah.
I know you've talked about that before, but
Yep.
there's been a couple times where you're like, oh yeah, there's water up there, and you go and then it's gone.
Whenever you hike in a desert environment, just assume you're not going to find natural water. So you really got to carry in everything you plan on drinking.
Yes.
So
Water is rare, yet a vital commodity in the desert. The only creek and pond, as well as the springs found on the refuge, provide life-sustaining water for all the wildlife and are home for aquatic species. There are flash floods because the ground doesn't absorb water good if it rains a lot. Flash floods can happen quickly and during any time of the year, particularly during the summer monsoons. A rainstorm miles away can cause a flash flood through a storm-free area.
we learned that in Zion.
Yes.
I remember
That
the
was
guy
wild.
The guy telling us that even if it rains 30, 40 miles away, that it can cause
Yeah, none of
floods.
it gets absorbed,
When
so it
it's
just
that
keeps
dry,
going.
Yeah, go out in your yard when it hasn't rained for like 3 weeks and pour like a bucket of water in the ground. It doesn't soak in; it runs off.
Yeah.
So
Now do that to the scale of Earth, and that's where we should tell that story for a Patreon episode about how all those people died, and it was like the most death that Park's seen ever.
real cheery story.
Yeah, but we were in the freaking
Yeah, we were the
canyon
last
where they
group.
died, but like we were smart about it. We followed the instructions, got out 2 hours early.
We were
From
the
when the
last group they gave a permit to.
Yeah.
And then we got out, and they weren't letting anyone else. They weren't issuing new permits. Once you have a permit, they can't legally take it from you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and a group went in after they shouldn't have, and you have to sign up for Patreon. We'll do a Patreon episode on that. So there you go.
There you go.
But if you are in an area with flash flood and you hear storms, you want to keep to higher ground. Avoid hiking and camping in washes and canyons. Flash floods are misleading in their depth and speed. Never attempt to drive through or otherwise enter flood water. So it's pretty simple to see. If you go to those areas, you can look. It looks like dried up riverbeds.
Yeah.
and you can see kind of where they occur. And
You'll
where,
see debris from trees
Yes.
and you'll see boulder like in Zion. There were boulders the size of like Greyhound buses that would get moved down the Narrows from water flow.
Yeah, you do
So-
not want to be in the waters they move. It's ridiculous how fast it moves. So
Yeah.
be mindful of that. Restricted areas. The western half of Desert NWR is used by the U.S. Air Force and as part of the Nevada Test and Training Range.
Yep.
So,
A lot of military presence out in this
you
area.
don't want to wander.
No.
So, difficulty in general. Due to the conditions and nature of desert hiking, this could be a tough area to hike if you are not prepared. So cell phone reception is also very sparse. Still bring it with you. We always say that.
Yeah.
But there are numerous activities for people to do. Biking on the public roads only, hiking and horseback riding, breaking in your brand new horse that you found. Don't do that last one. It's like Pokemon. I'm just going to go catch one. Got to catch them all. Camping is allowed year-round on the refuge in the designated areas. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Kenny Veach. He went by, and we've talked about this a couple times, his trail name Snake Bite McGee, which is his YouTube channel. And we'll play a little clip later from that. The date he went missing was November 10th of 2014. His remains were not found. He was a male, 47 years old at the time of the disappearance. He was 5'8", 140 pounds, had brown hair. And the clothing he was last seen in, on most of these trips, he went alone, camping out for several days with minimum supplies and without GPS, compass, or even a map. So this guy, Mike can attest to this, he was kind of nuts when it came to hiking.
Yeah, I mean, not to, throw any shade on him. This is what other, experienced hikers and climbers have said about him, is he was pretty reckless in his hiking and would, by our standards, very unprepared for a hike like this. I would never go hiking where he did without, the proper equipment, but that's what he did. Yep. And he did it for a long time with no issue.
Yeah, so when we say that, we're not speaking ill, we're giving facts. So these are his quotes directly.
This is kind of just to set up his personality.
Yeah, you'll get an idea what he's like.
Yeah.
I solo hike across mountaintops that most people wouldn't dare go. I have been in more caves than I can count. I play with rattlesnakes for fun, but this one particular cave was beyond anything I had ever encountered.
He's talking about the M cave in this quote.
Yes. I have been doing this sort of thing for over 20 years. I go where no one goes, and I never take anyone with me. I find skulls of all shapes and sizes, and occasionally I find really old animal traps. I hike over mountaintop after mountaintop and sleep on peaks under the stars. Sometimes I have to scale giant cliffs to get myself out of a jam, but I always make it back. I'm beat up and tired, and my pack is almost always heavier than when I left. I had to be rescued only one time by a helicopter. I had blown out my left leg at the top of a mountain, and I only had a cup of water left to get me 20 miles back to my truck. It was also over 100 degrees out, so I have a very good safety record.
So you can kind of get from, some of his quotes, and he posted a lot of comments on YouTube. That's where most of these quotes come from. Kind of a very confident guy in his abilities.
I would say so, very confident in his abilities.
Yeah, and kind of a showman. I think he's obviously, peacocking a little bit here. I don't know that everything that he talks about he's done. But
yeah.
He sounds like a real colorful character.
Yeah.
And a real interesting person if you happen to come across him like out on the trail.
Yep. Pride comes before the fall. Yeah. That's what comes to mind when I read quotes like that.
Yeah.
So, occupation hobby. Reports and social media posts state that he had quit his job of 17 years to pursue starting up his own business. But this had been something of a failure, and he was essentially living on his retirement money. Apparently, that business was not doing well as he had anticipated. Most of his YouTube videos documented him practicing pitches for Shark Tank, and in one of the videos, he talked about selling his home because he was running out of capital. His experience in the wilderness. He was an experienced solo hiker and spent much of his free time exploring the Mojave and Great Basin deserts of Nevada and California, but he often took risks either through lack of preparation or hiking dangerous areas that experienced hikers frowned upon. So it sounded like he probably knew how to do it right, but was the type of person where he's like, well, I'm going to try and do it in a more crazy way.
Yeah. And I think he was also, when trying to find this cave, so driven to find it that he maybe, overlooked some of the preparations and was just like, I got to get out there and find it again. Like, I don't care. Nothing's stopping me.
All right. So his experience in that location, Kenny was not new to the desert hiking. He had claimed to hiked extensively in the Mojave Desert area, even leaving several YouTube comments on the Area 51 video detailing his experience. Some of his friends and family statements. Many fellow hikers in U.S. deserts would call his trips reckless without the necessary preparations and equipment. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so you get a sense that something hadn't happened to him yet by sheer luck.
He was getting like a little cockier because he was able to pull all this stuff off and not come away unscathed so many times, and That's just rolling the dice every time, and eventually you're going to roll snake eyes.
Yeah.
Look at all these gambling references I'm going to keep coming up with.
I didn't even think of that. I should have mixed more into this.
It just came up with right now on the fly.
So before I get into timeline, I just want to quickly thank friends at Magic Mind for sponsoring this episode. Joe's actually going to drink one right now.
Oh, yeah.
And
I'm very tired, so I'm literally gonna. I asked Mike. I was like, "Hey, can I drink this? I've had a long day." He's like, "No, wait till we're recording."
Yeah, so I actually have run out, so I'm gonna have to re-up and order. But
hey, Magic Mind, we need some more of these these delicious drinks for the show.
But, as I mentioned the last time we talked about Magic Mind, Joe, I'm getting so little sleep right now, having a newborn at home.
Here, you can have a drink right here in front of the video.
And I've been a caffeineaholic for a long time, and caffeine is, the more you take, the more you got to keep taking to like feel awake from it. And at a certain point, there's just too much. And
when you're at I think it was 2 cases of soda a day. I'm just kidding.
You just get jittery, and it's just not fun. It gets tough to focus. But Magic Mind, I have been taking it. Joe and I don't, promote anything we don't use, and
it's only got 2 grams of sugars, and it says it's honey.
Yeah, it's
like super good.
Yeah, it's good.
Only 15 calories.
I take it right in the morning, after I get up, kind of like when you'd have your first coffee. And
3 grams of carbs. This will fit within a keto diet if you do one.
Yeah,
I think you can only have like 5 grams a day.
Yeah, they call it a productivity shot. Boosts all kinds of things like memory, mood, increases focus, lowers stress and inflammation. It's got a lot of nice, vitamins in it. Like
nootropics for focus. I like that. Now I've done the 3 that we had here. I did in the last 3 episodes.
Yeah.
And if you notice in those ones, the episodes slowly got better.
Debatable, but we'll say they did.
Yeah. No, this is good stuff. It tastes good actually too. That's what I like about it.
Some of the energy drinks you drink, like, won't name them by name, but I call them the hourly drinks, just taste awful.
They give me headaches.
Like you're drinking battery acid or something.
I'm the type of person, I can't drink too much caffeine or energy drinks. I get headaches. That one does not give me headaches, so I actually do like it a lot.
The cool thing with Magic Mind is they're not spending all their money on doing crazy stunts or having people jump out of balloons. They actually, have committed to a carbon neutral production process, and they also are contributing to reforestation in California and the Amazon. And they contribute, I think it's 5 cents of every bottle sold to mental health charities for impoverished and, homeless communities. So
there you go. Save the environment, get energy.
Get energy, save the environment, help, people that are worse off than you. And
most importantly, help the show.
And you're helping the show.
That's not the most important. But, Mike, how do people get a good deal on this drink? Because they heard it here first. Tell me.
So they are offering an exclusive deal to Locations Unknown listeners. Right now, with the discount code unknown20 at checkout, you can get 20% off your first one-time purchase. But I think, and Joe thinks, you're going to like it so much, why stop with one purchase when you can do a subscription? So they are offering 40% off your first subscription with that same discount code unknown20 at checkout. These codes only do last for 10 days, so you got to jump on it and spend your entire paycheck on Magic Mind. At least one. That's what we recommend. Yeah. So if you want to take advantage of this, like we said, more energy, help the environment, help people less advantaged than you, and help the show out, go to magicmind.co/unknown. That would be magicmind.co/UNKNOWN.
I still say unknown because I have to speak. I've got bad phonics, so I have to do it like literally.
So, just once again, thank you to Magic Mind for helping the show out, and hopefully they'll be with us in the future. So,
and always remember, we do not shill for things we do not believe in.
Yes,
we've turned down many offers. So even though we're a new podcast, we don't need money bad enough that we're going to lie to you guys. So
I mean,
I did. For those who weren't watching, I did just slam the shot. It did taste good, and I'll let you know how it goes.
I mean, we turned down the Fleshlight. No, I'm just kidding. They never asked you guys, and I urge you not to Google the Fleshlight. Yeah. I shouldn't have even mentioned it.
It's okay. All right, let's get into the timeline.
So this all starts out on June of 2014. So in June 2014, he left a comment on a video called Son of an Area 51 Technician, stating, now this is a quote from him, "That ain't nothing. I'm a long-distance hiker. One time during one of my hikes out by Nellis Air Force Base, I found a hidden cave. The entrance to the cave was shaped like a perfect capital M." He goes on to say, "I always enter every cave I find, but as I began to enter this particular cave, my whole body began to vibrate. The closer I got to the cave entrance, the worse the vibrating became. Suddenly, I became very scared and hightailed it out of there. That was one of the strangest things that ever happened to me." So the M-shaped cave that Kenny was referring to in this YouTube comment was what he estimated around 7 miles from Nellis Air Force Base in the Sheep Mountains. So Joe, if you're watching this, Joe's got Google Earth up here, and he's kind of showing you kind of...
Yeah, here's Sheep Peak right here.
Yeah, it's a very rugged, dry, mountainous desert region of Nevada.
Very deserty desert
Deserty
reason.
I'll
I'll zoom out so you can kind of see, like, there's Vegas right here.
Yeah.
So it's not too far outside of the city, but I mean, you can walk on the strip in Vegas and be exhausted in the city. So this is far enough where it doesn't matter.
So the unique part about this area where Kenny was hiking was it's full of old mine shafts that the military had used to dispose of chemicals, and it's very isolated and tough to get. Are you
serious?
There.
They used to just like dump stuff down mine shafts.
Oh yeah. That's why you got.
So he thought he was vibrating, and he was just like inhaling toxic fumes.
Probably, yeah.
Jeez.
He claims that it took him around 10 hours of hiking to reach the area of the M Cave and then to return to his car. This is also a well-known place for drug addicts and dealers who had taken up residence in the area, and it's even been known for dumping ground for murder victims' bodies. So.
That I definitely believe.
Not a great area to be hiking around, especially by yourself. So many fellow YouTubers, YouTube posters were skeptical, and some commented that he was, BSing about the experience in the M Cave discovery. Others dared him to go back and get more footage, and he responded with a follow-up hike to the same area in the Sheep Mountains. One poster who went by the username Lemmy Killmister warned Kenny not to return, that you won't get out. So people don't know. People have speculated, did this poster know anything? Was he trolling? My guess is it was a troll.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's the internet. So October 18th, despite the warning that he got in the comments, he returned again to the desert, but this time with his Ruger 9mm gun, and he posted a YouTube video of his hike trying to find the M Cave. So Joe is going to pull this up and make sure to put the audio up.
Good point.
There we go.
Forget that the one time. Here we go.
We'll just watch a few minutes of this.
Well, here I am on my hike up here in the mountains north of Las Vegas. This is a canyon I just walked up in. Now you can't tell, but my truck is way out there by the mountains at the very, very end of this valley. It's kind of like a big canyon. On the other side of these mountains, I'll show you in a second, is the bombing range, the Nellis Air Force bombing range. They do a lot of practice stuff out there. This is an old mine, and there's a hole here that just goes way down. I'll show you that. And then
look at that ladder.
The last time I came up here, I hiked up to the top of what they call Gas Peak, and I spent the night. It was a 2-day hike, and then I hiked all the way down to another valley over here and went past this mountain range you see on my right, all the way back out to the flat desert. Now, the camera doesn't pick this up very well, but it's a long way. And I just romp around out here, do some solo hikes, and have some fun. My mission today is to just do a 1-day hike. It's about a 10-hour hike. I got to still go over another ridge and then go all the way down a big crevice that's real narrow and gets kind of scary. I'm looking for a cave that I found, and I didn't have a sidearm when I was here before, and something about that cave just spooked me out of all the caves I've ever gone in. This one just made my body vibrate. The closer I got to it, the crazier my body felt, and I was like, all right, I'm not gonna go in there right now, but I'm coming back someday. And I talked to some people on YouTube, and I told them, hey, I'm coming out here, you know, because they kind of called my hand on it. So I don't know if there's going to be anything to it, but it might be interesting.
I'm going to jump to this spot. It says, look at this. I didn't know they had this. This is the most replayed area. Okay. I'm going to jump here. This thing's 20 minutes long. We'll link it, so if you want to watch the whole thing.
Yeah. Shaped like it's shaped.
Oh, is that it?
Like
is that it?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Oh, that looks like it.
Little caves and stuff along here, and it's about level with the ground. Like,
he never found it again.
Like an area like this. So I really got to keep my eyes peeled because I don't want to pass it.
That one looked like an M.
Yeah, I mean too small to get in.
Caves like that. You know?
He wasn't vibrating, so it wasn't the right one.
Yeah. Looks like something in there.
Yeah, it does. It looks like there's like a guy in there.
Yeah. And there's caves. There's actually caves all over the place up here. It's a really cool place. If you want to come spelunking, this is the place to come spelunking, man.
That's wild. All right, I'll pause it. We'll link this in the video if you want to see what he looks like. He looks more normal than I would have guessed.
Yeah, no, he looks like a super normal guy. He's just like super into like backcountry solo hiking, like minimalist, doesn't bring really anything with him. And I don't know if you have Gas Peak pulled up.
Let's see here. That's what he was pointing at that. I'll look it up because I can search on here while you keep talking.
Yeah, so like you said, that was a video of his around the second time he went out looking
Gas,
for
G-A-S?
I believe, let's see here. It was called Gas Peak, G-A-S-S, yeah.
Right.
So he did talk back and forth with a lot of people on YouTube, and you can go back and see a lot of his posts. They're all still out there. His channel is still live on YouTube, and Joe's pulling up Gas Peak right now. This is kind of where he was. He was obviously north of that a bit, but he was talking about that was the direction he came from, I believe. Or he slept
there's
up there.
Gas Peak Trail.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was almost, you know what it looked like? Because he's pointing to like the left and the right. It's almost like he was like in here.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah, he talked about like being on this side, and he was like in the valley.
It's tough because this area, it's not like a national park where there's defined trails. It's very remote, and he most of the time hiked off the grid, basically. He didn't hike on known roads or anything like that. He would just go up over a mountain.
Yeah.
So in another comment he posted around this time of October 18th of 2014, he wrote, "Maybe it's just strange-looking cave that has a mountain lion living in it. It should be some time this week. I will have my 9mm with me this time, just in case. Last time I was unarmed. It's a 10-hour hike, no trails, very dangerous terrain." He goes on to say, "The mountain is located right next to the bombing range. I have found some giant empty rounds of ammo before. I have just been waiting for the Vegas weather to cool down. It's not the kind of hike one would do in the summer."
Sounds like he was an area he shouldn't have been in.
Well, he also, so it goes on, he parked his vehicle in the Joe May Canyon area and probably headed to areas like Corkscrew Canyon and the valley around Gas Peak. Though this time he was unsuccessful in locating it, this resulted in even more negative comments on YouTube that he was a liar and that the cave never existed in the first place. So a theme throughout all this is he breaks the golden rule of, content creators is don't read the comments, don't go on Twitter.
Or don't engage.
Don't engage because we get negative stuff on YouTube, and early on I used to engage, and now I just ignore.
Yeah.
I still want to engage.
I know. I know. I always tell you, like, they said this, we got to address them. Like, we're not going to address it. Don't address it. Don't give them any fuel.
So, he goes on he commented on YouTube after the second hike. He wrote, "I got back from a 10-hour hike yesterday. I completely searched the whole darn canyon. I could not relocate the cave. I found a tarantula, a tortoise, and a ram, but I could not find the cave. I don't know if you've ever climbed up and down a mountain for 10 hours, but it wore me out. All I got out of it were some nice photos and a big bag full of pinion nuts. This is the perfect time of year to find pinion nuts. Thanks for asking." He also responded to some more negative comments. He said, "I have a video of the hike if you'd like to see it. I hike completely around a large mountain. Do you even have a clue what it's like? There are hundreds of caves up and down the canyons I was in. I overestimated my ability to find the one I was looking for. It's rare for me to take the same hike twice. I don't use trails, and I cover extremely long distances. If you think you could do better, go for it. I have to warn you, though, it's brutal on the feet. I often will lose 1 or 2 toenails after one of my longer hikes. That's happened to me before.
Yeah.
The nails take such a punishment that they turn black and fall off. If you've never hiked solo for 15 miles in a mountainous region and then climbed to the top of a mountain you've never seen before, spent the night on the peak, and climbed down the next morning, and then climbed another tall mountain the next day and spent the night again, then hiked 15, 20 miles all the way back to your vehicle the following day, worn out, with little to no water left, carrying a heavier pack than you left, and barely having enough strength left to climb your stairs when you get home, and slid into a hot tub of water to rejuvenate yourself. You have no room to speak.
Oh, he was getting really hurt. I heard about the words.
Yeah. So, and he's not even done here. So yes,
God.
he goes on finally here. Yes, this is what I do for fun. No, I didn't find the damn cave. I'm only a little disappointed. I can always go back and try again. I guess I need to start posting the videos of my hikes and of me catching rattlesnakes and critters. Then people like you would stop doubting me. So I started reading a bunch of quotes, but this really does help kind of set the tone for the hikes he's been on. So, after he's going back and forth with, people doubting him, Kenny told the YouTubers he was going on a third trip to the area to find the M Cave, and he invited others to join him, but no one offered to accompany him. He wrote, I'm going again this weekend. I'll be hiking solo for 3 days. I plan on covering about 40 miles. I will cross through the same canyon where I found the cave. If I don't find it again, I will just continue hiking over the mountain. I'll continue hiking over mountain after mountain to the north of the canyon. I dare any of the people that like to run their mouths on here to join me. My hikes are brutal on the body, and one of my long hikes, some of my toenails turn black and fall off. I lose about 13 pounds of body weight. Takes me about 3 days to recover from the abuse I put myself through, but I love every minute of it. There's no guarantee that I'll find the cave. The region that I cover is vast. There are many caves. I've been in hundreds of them. The M Cave is the only cave I ever feared going inside. I really want to find it again. So that sets up... and Joe on the screen, I'll get to that quote.
I'm not showing it right now. I'm reading it, but... Yeah.
I don't know that I'll read all of it. I have it in our notes.
Yeah, it's long.
It's long. So let's fast forward to November 10th,
That's
2014.
what's crazy about this video. Like, was his business probably trying to do something like this? It has 2.7 million views on this one video.
Well, it got a lot bigger, sadly, once he went missing.
That's what I'm kind of getting at. Is nobody probably watched it until he's probably trying to build that audience. And unfortunately, him missing is what actually, he's got 53,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
60,000 likes, 2.7 million views. Like, he could have started making money, but he only got big because he got lost.
Back in 2014, the making money on YouTube wasn't as developed as it is now. Mm-hmm. So I feel bad that he wasn't able to, monetize some of this. But
yeah, he was early content creator.
Yeah. So November 10th, 2014, Kenny told his girlfriend Sharon Pilgrim that he was leaving to find the cave on a solo hike. He told his family he was going to hike the mountains and planned to return 2 days later. This would be the last time anyone would see or hear from Kenny. So around November 14th, 2014, when he didn't return home, his girlfriend Sharon contacted the Las Vegas police. Unfortunately, a search and rescue effort didn't kick off for about another week. They waited for signs from Kenny, and I'm guessing they did this just because of the nature of how he hiked. He would kind of go off grid and, do his own thing and then, come back out. So around roughly, I didn't get a specific date for this, but around the 22nd time frame of November is when the search effort really kicked off. Large search parties were formed, helicopters were deployed, and the Nevada Red Rocks search and rescue team were looking for Kenny. Dozens of SAR personnel were combing the mountains, and air and ground searchers had, searched for several days but didn't find any clues. Then, like I said, on November 22nd, they found his cell phone. So they actually found his cell phone in front of that same mine shaft
I just threw it up.
Was in the video, yeah.
That one he was filming at is where they found it.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
So the cell phone was located on November 22nd. They found it resting on the ground outside of an entrance to a mine.
This is the local Channel 3, KSNV My News 3 in Las Vegas story we have up on the screen. It came out on Saturday, November 22nd, so it was the day they discovered it. They wrote the story.
Yeah, so Red Rock Search and Rescue Commander Dave Cummings told News 3 Las Vegas, this is his quote, "We found a cell phone close to a very vertical old mine shaft, and we can't find another trail. It doesn't mean that he's down the mine shaft, but we have tracked him as far as we can. We are having our other crews come in from the search areas." This led many to believe that he had probably fallen into the deep mine shaft and died from the fall, but when cameras were sent down to investigate, there was no sign of a dead body or that the pit had even been disturbed. So he wasn't in that mine shaft.
Weird. So he left his cell phone and maybe forgot it there or something?
Yeah, well, we'll get into theories why that he may have done that.
Okay. I always get ahead of myself.
You do. So yeah, like I said, no body, no clues, no other belongings have ever been found throughout the region. A lot of people felt like it was like he just vanished off the face of the earth. And we've had this theme in other cases where it seems like they just disappeared like poof into thin air. But
yep.
So just some notes I had on this case, things I found strange. One of the things that was kind of strange about this day that he went missing was he decided to do another day hike without overnight camping equipment, which his hikes in there are always like 10-hour hikes, so usually always overnight camps, so he did not bring that gear with him. But a lot of people have said he has been known to be a reckless desert hiker, so that's not entirely out of character for him.
Mm-hmm.
But, a 10-hour hike would not leave him much daylight once he got to that area, so it was still a little strange. He also left his video camera behind, which he used for his previous M Cave video that we were watching. So then, strangely, Joe's got this massive quote up on the
I'll throw it up right now
on the screen. I'm not going to read all of it. It's from his girlfriend. Unfortunately, YouTube doesn't tell you a date and time for comments, so we don't know exactly.
It just says 6 years ago.
We don't know exactly when she left this comment, but
let this soft mineral melt in your...
What the heck happened? I just clicked on the comment. That was my bad. I'm sorry, everybody.
So we don't know exactly when she left this comment, but it was after he went missing. It was some time after he went missing, and she just went into talking about how they've camped and hiked all over the Nevada desert, sometimes 9 hours a day. They would find abandoned mining towns and caves and mine shafts. She always said they were always very careful in how they explored them. She did say Kenny was more daring than she was. She talked about how they wore snake guards and they had some protected clothing. They used walking sticks. They brought enough water and food for the hiking hours and extra water and food in the car. So she really wanted to say that she didn't think he had an accident. She thinks he committed suicide. And this isn't, I'll get into actual theories.
Okay.
But she basically said he's battled depression for many years and he would sometimes go off his medication. He quit his job a little more than a year before he disappeared. So she thinks that...
Hold on, you missed a very important part.
What?
Right after that, he wanted to see if he could sell his inventions and do what he called cowboy interior design for homes.
I did miss that.
That is I need to know what that is.
Well, so yeah, we'll get into theories. So, we'll post a link to this video and people can go read the entire. It's a couple massive paragraphs. Of
it's long
comments.
If you're watching, you'll see. I just highlighted that part, but
her general theme of her comment was that she didn't think it was an accident. She thinks he went out there to commit suicide. So,
yeah, she wrote, "You aren't going to pull a Robin Williams on me, are you?" That's what she asked him.
So there actually was another YouTuber that started up a search for Kenny and videoed his searches. His name on YouTube was Aqua Chigger, and he decided to document his attempts to find Veach in the desert. In his December 9th, 2021 video, he comes across... Aqua Chigger comes across a few things that led him to change his thoughts about what may have happened to Veach. He goes on to quote, One thing in particular that was very odd is a stone pillbox-like structure overlooking the approaches to the area. I also discovered some large scat with large chunks of animal bone in it, and that begins to change my thoughts on how I should conduct any future searches. I suspect there could be mountain lions roaming the hills for sure now. I also found a badger skull not too far away, and they too would be capable of devouring and scattering human remains. I also found evidence of 2 separate mountain sheep deaths, and one had severely fractured leg bone, which could also be a sign of how and why Kenny never came back out of the hills so many years ago. His searches include the so-called MK Valley in the Sheep Mountain area, and other areas sometimes come to him in self-described premonitions. It seems that his conclusion is that Veach succumbed to the elements, but no body has been found to this day. So this YouTuber that has been hiking in this area looking for him doesn't think it was suicide, thinks he had an accident, and then the wildlife, dealt with.
Yeah, took care of the rest.
Yeah. So we're going to jump into theories now, and I'll give you a list of theories from family, friends, other hikers, and then you can tell me what you think. Obviously, the most prominent theory is suicide based on what his girlfriend said. So Kenny's apparent negative state of mind may have given him the thought to end his life, and the M Cave story was a perfect excuse. But if this was his intent, where are Kenny's remains? Nothing has ever been found despite all of the official and voluntary searches. Perhaps he jumped into one of the many mine shafts in the Sheep Mountains and will never be found. That was theory number 1. Mm-hmm. 2, intentional disappearance. So did Kenny disappear to start a new life and escape, troubles at home? He definitely appeared to have a lot of financial issues. So it led a lot of people to wonder, did he fake his own death to get out of the debt he was in? Maybe. Okay. Misadventure. Did he fall down one of the mine shafts? Did he succumb to the heat and die from hypothermia, or dehydration? Was he bitten by a snake? Only his phone was found. There was no sign of a body despite a large search. Was his girlfriend somehow involved? People have speculated that. Getting into some more of the interesting theories, I would call them. One is military action.
He seemed pretty nonchalant about being in the Nellis Air Force Base bombing area.
Yeah. So did he discover a secret entrance to Area 51?
Ooh. Follow the vibrations.
With strange effects on his body caused by classified military technology. Some theorize.
Element, what is it? Element 215 or?
I don't know.
What's that? Remember, what's his name?
The guy.
The guy who claimed he was an engineer at Area 51
with the glasses.
Yeah. With the body and the arms.
So, some theorize that covert black ops in the military took Kenny out as he had discovered something he shouldn't have. Some focused on the existence of Area 51.
Element 115. Bob Lazar.
Some focused on the existence of Area 51 and the fact that Veach's cell phone was found near Nellis Air Force Base. Allegedly, there are several tunnels below the Nevada desert accessed by this base, and those tunnels lead to imprisoned aliens and other military secrets. So others say that the strange vibration and subsequent feelings of fear experienced by Kenny as he approached this cave could have been the effects of what is known as an active denial system. So an active denial system is a non-lethal directed energy weapon developed by the U.S. military designed for area denial, perimeter security, and crowd control. Informally, the weapon is called the heat ray since it works by heating the surface of targets such as the skin of targeted human subjects without damaging muscle tissue. Investigators have theorized that the device used in this particular cave could instead have been based on infrasound. Infrasound is a relatively new discovery of ultra-low frequency sound waves which have significant effects on human beings when they are exposed to them. People are reported to experience strange vibrations, auditory and visual hallucinations, and intense feelings of fear when subject to such low frequencies. So, did he come across some kind of covert entrance to one of these bases and they had one of these ultra-low frequency denial systems in place, which is what he was feeling? I mean, pretty far-fetched, but you never know. Another theory, hoax. So some people believed the entire situation was a hoax, citing the lack of articles and media coverage concerning the disappearance. They claim that his Facebook page seeks to legitimize the case. However, the lack of reputable information on the police search in comparison to the multiple conspiracy sites running his story makes the veracity of the event seem questionable. Skeptics also noticed that Veach only had 5 YouTube videos uploaded to his channel, and 4 of them involved selling things. Some have wondered if did he leave his initial comment about the M Cave on another YouTube channel before dropping the highly anticipated M Cave hike video in an attempt to gain internet points? Unlike his other videos, the M Cave upload garnered over 1 million views, and like Joe said, it's over 2 million now. Mm-hmm. However, Veach's story was featured on the CNN docuseries Real Life Nightmares, making it less likely to be a hoax with so many actors fooling a large news network. So I don't think it was a hoax. Finally, just the last couple theories. Animal attack. Some speculate that he may have gotten bit by a rattlesnake or attacked by a mountain lion. But this is also met with doubt because he did have a gun with him. I mean, a gun wouldn't protect you from a rattlesnake, but a mountain lion it would. Yeah. So I think a rattlesnake bite would be plausible, but you would think searchers, if he was bit and didn't end up in a mine shaft, would find his body out there.
Yeah.
But they say, no blood was found anywhere, not even on his phone, and there was nothing to indicate animal predation in this location. So authorities kind of ruled that one out. Foul play, like we mentioned earlier in the episode, this area is known to harbor, drug addicts, and people have dumped, bodies in this area in the past. So I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility that with how he just hikes off the grid, no trails, no roads, that he maybe came across something going on. And
yeah, they made him leave the cell phone, or they left the cell phone there on purpose.
If a criminal element's already out there dumping one murder victim,
yeah, if he came
someone
across
sees
that,
it, they're not going to hesitate to kill you. So that's a possibility. And finally, UFOs, because Area 51.
Yep.
I don't have anything else for UFOs. Just he found his secret entrance to the alien jail or something.
All right. I think we give our theories, and I have a little surprise for you.
What's
that I just discovered? Well, I'll tell you when we're done with theories.
Okay, so what do you think happened?
I'll give my real theory. I think more than likely he fell into a mine shaft.
You think?
I think he fell, and there's so many of them. I was thinking about what's neat about doing, well, not neat, that's a bad word to use, but we did the case with Paul Miller.
Yeah.
It was hard for them to find him.
Yeah.
And he was not in a cave.
No, he was close.
Yeah, he was close by, and they had to use that special technology to find him.
Yeah.
So if this guy's going in and out of these caves, and there's hundreds of them, the odds of them finding him are like needle in a stack of needles. Is kind of how I look at it. So I think it's just they just couldn't find him, and you have only a certain amount of people and time to do it. Mm-hmm. I think that's the most likely. The cell phone thing, that makes it a little bit harder, where I'd maybe lean a little bit towards he came across some bad people and they did bad things.
Yeah.
But there's also the possibility he left it there. I've left put my cell phone down and did other things and kind of walked away before. That's something that can happen. I do also, it's funny because the girlfriend had mentioned the suicide thing. She just went right to it. So could it have been like a setup where she's involved or whatever? Yeah, probably. I want to go towards the most likely that he just succumbed to the elements somehow, either with his recklessness or whatever. He's been kind of playing around with that too often, and eventually you're going to get bit.
Yeah, what's the saying? You mess with the horns, or
mess with the bull, you get the horns.
You get the horns.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I think personally,
or if you mess with the horns, you get the bull. I don't know. You just don't want either one.
I think I have two theories on equal footing. I think suicide is a very possible theory based on what the girlfriend said, and perhaps he put his cell phone there and then went down a different mine shaft to kind of throw searchers off, so they think he was there, but he's like,
so why do you think? Because usually suicide victims don't want to be stopped, but they want to be found. That's what was weird.
Yeah, so I mean I'm just going off of the information she provided that he would go off his medication. He had financial troubles. He's been battling depression. I think that's a high probability. I also think misadventure is a nice way of saying it, that he does so many risky things that eventually something bad was going to happen. He already blew his knee out once and had to get taken out of there by a helicopter.
Yeah, and he doesn't follow itineraries, doesn't use GPS. It just makes all the mistakes.
Yeah, and so I think that is a very high probability of happening. And there's so many mine shafts, they could never search all of them.
Yep.
Like you said, maybe the phone just fell out of his pocket. Like he was there.
Yeah.
And it fell out of his pocket, and he kept going. And he found a cave that he thought, oh, this looks interesting. And you saw in that video, like the ladder and stuff, that wood, it's probably 100 years old.
Oh, yeah. If you step
Maybe
on
he
that,
tried climbing down one of those and it broke and he fell and he's in one of those mine shafts.
Yeah.
I think those are my two, theories. What is this phrase we say?
Off the deep end.
Off the deep end.
We gotta find a song so I can hit a button and it plays like the.
I wish we could license the X-Files theme,
like something like that,
Yeah.
like something crazy.
I'll find something.
Let's find something.
Off the deep end, I think he discovered, like an escape tunnel for like one of the military bases.
Ooh, an exhaust shaft
or something like maybe it was a tunnel for Area 51 that they use, like if they've got to get out of the base quick.
Mm-hmm.
And it was guarded by one of these, perimeter denial systems. And that's why he felt that vibration.
Okay.
And
like high amounts of energy radiating.
And maybe he found the M cave again and he pushed too far, too close to it. And
okay.
Maybe he like passed out or something, and then the military.
They put his phone back by the mine shaft where his videos were.
Yeah. And
that's something they're definitely capable of doing that.
They're like, we can't like hand him over now. He's seen too much, and that's the last.
Happy ending. He's working there. They didn't kill him. He's just working there and he can't leave. He's like that in Independence Day that scientist just like they don't let him out. Yeah. He's a little crazy.
So yeah, that's my off the deep end theory. But I honestly do think that now that I think about it more, I mean, suicide I think is a very close number 2, but I think number 1. Along with that Aqua guy on YouTube, I think he just had an accident.
Yeah,
I'm
with her.
He pushed the envelope too much, and you do risky things long enough, something bad's going to happen.
You mess with the bull, you get the horns, Mike.
All right, what's your surprise?
I am off the deep end with you too.
Okay.
I'm on your off the deep end train. Government involvement, Area 51, all the things.
Definitely.
My surprise is somebody found the M cave, according to them, and it's got 1 million views.
Sweet.
I don't think it's the M cave, nor do the other people, because they said it's very visible. But
let's see it.
The surprise is, hold on, let me get the volume going here, because I didn't listen to it. I was reading what they said.
So, I believe that up there is the M cave. See that entrance? It looks like a letter M.
Look at he's gonna trace it for us. Look at there it is.
Oh,
Illuminati. Fractals.
Taking
So hold on, I'm not gonna make it. It's 8 minutes long. We should post this too. He walks up there, looks suspicious right here. This little wall he's seeing.
Oh yeah.
Now let's go forward here all the way to 5 minutes. What is this?
It's empty.
Oh, there's empty bottles. Wait for it.
Oh, something over here.
Oh, there's something over here, Mike. There's some wood.
Oh, here's a sign. Or
what?
Something, a piece of metal.
There's a piece of metal. What? Warning, Area 51, no trespassing.
Hey, there we go.
Restricted area, no trespassing.
And it was under some sticks, so it definitely has been there for a while.
Well,
definitely wasn't planted by
I don't want to trust my luck.
You know, those secret military bases that put signs out with the distinct location that it's the secret military base. Oh, what does that say? Danger, Area 51.
I'm not sure why all this wood is in here, or this bottle.
Yeah.
Or that sign. But
what's the channel? What's the username?
Oh, well, it's got 1 million views. Let's see here. It's just some random guy. Let's see what it says. It is Exploring Abandoned Mines in Unusual Places channel.
Oh, very specific.
Yep, very specific.
You're not going to find...
He's got almost half a million subscribers, though. 413,000 subscribers.
Well, we'll post links to all this stuff, and you guys can check it out for yourselves.
So he found the Area 51 restricted sign, use of deadly force authorized. That wood looks old, and the sign was under sticks. Dirty.
Once we hit, like the big leagues for podcasting, we need.
Oh my gosh! I got to play it again real quick. I wasn't sharing the screen, just the sign part. I'm sorry, everybody. But it's definitely here. I'll go right to the sign.
Or something, a piece of metal.
There it is. Here goes everybody watching. Everyone watching probably like, you idiot. Like, look at, hold on, I'm going to pause it right here. Look at that.
There we go.
Clear evidence. Warning, restricted. Deadly use of deadly force authorized. No trespassing. Area 51, real big. Boom. Case closed.
I've seen the other signs for Area 51. None of them say, oh, you're at Area 51, restricted access.
I know, right?
That seems a little sus to me.
No,
not at all.
No, definitely. All right, so I'll show. I won't play it, but there, see, he's traced the M. Yeah. I actually jumped right to it. That was pretty impressive. See, look, there's the M. You can. I'll back up a little bit so you can see what it looks like. There he goes. Yeah, I mean, it's there's old wood. There's a bottle. This is one of the secret entrances. There it is. There's the door, probably. What I was saying,
and then we'll sign off for this episode. But
are you sure you don't want to just keep going down this rabbit hole?
Well, we'll move this to Patreon.
There we go.
Once we hit the big leagues, podcasting wise, we need to fly out to Nevada and go right up to the gate and pull a folding table out and do like an episode right in front of the gate to Area 51.
Like in an area where we can be?
Yeah, like the public area.
Okay, I don't want to.
Right before you get shot.
Or that is how we could maybe get this to blow up faster. Is just go do it, get arrested, and then we'll make the news. Two idiots trying to make their podcast big.
Yeah. A very interesting case. Like we said, it's been covered by a lot of people online, but people really, there's so many conspiracy theories about this case, and I was on a couple Reddit threads, and there were a lot of people getting angry that this is even still talked about. They're like, it's suicide, leave him alone, but I don't think it's as clear cut as just saying it's definitely a suicide.
And he was a gregarious dude. I think it's almost kind of doing his life justice to continue the story. Like, he was kind of a unique dude. I'll say he was a weird dude, not in like a mean way. He was a goofy dude.
Yeah.
The fact that
fun guy to hike with. I think he would be fun to hike with.
Yeah, he as long as he follows our rules. Yeah. But he wanted to do something big.
Yeah.
Not that I'm promoting being reckless or anything, but
no.
There's ancillary channels that are following the story that are getting millions of views.
Yeah.
So his name is carrying on in the search for this M cave. I don't think it was suicide. I think, I don't get that. I know you can never tell. I think it was a misadventure.
Yeah.
I really do. And I hope that, is doing his name justice, I guess.
Well,
don't do what he does. That is not, and that is not us saying, oh yeah, that's great. No, you hear us every week or every month, however often we post. Like, don't do any of the things he did. Do the opposite. Go exploring, but do it the right way so you can come back and actually share your adventures.
Do it safely. And a place like this to hike in is very difficult and requires a lot of preparation, a lot of skill. It's not something a novice should do.
Yeah.
And we don't need to go into any of it anymore. But
no.
If you'd like to continue hearing this crazy conversation, we're going to move it over to Patreon.
Oh, yeah.
So,
all right. Well, thanks again for tuning into our show. We appreciate all of you for listening and sharing Locations Unknown with your friends and family. Be sure to like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We now have the YouTube channel also, where you can subscribe to the show as well as get other video content portions of the podcast. If you'd like to support the show, visit the Facebook store or the website store and buy some cool swag. I just informed Mike we have some neat tiny buttons coming in.
Can't wait.
So those are going to be cool. They have little backgrounds that look like a contour map. It'll be awesome. You can also sign up for Patreon or the YouTube subscription service, where you will have access to all of our additional content. And last but not least, when you're enjoying the beauty of nature, whether backpacking, camping, or simply taking a walk, always remember to leave no trace. Thanks, and we will see you all next time. For those of you still here, we are going to record a podcast episode for Patreon supporters where we are going to blindly listen to voicemails. So sign up for Patreon to get access to the new content.